week so far? How's my week been? My week has been good so far. As far as I can remember from Monday. Oh, yes. I started Monday thinking I needed another day off because I was here on Sunday. And I felt like, I owed myself an extra day of rest. But hey, who am I to ask for it? I can't change the norm. But it's been good so far. It's been very, very, very productive. A few high moments already. And I'm grateful for it. I didn't see it coming. But it's been good. It's had its own challenges so far. But hey, we're still here. That's the beauty of life. When you sleep and wake up and, every part of you is functioning the way it should. That's more than enough blessings. And I hope you're grateful for it. Another thing I'm grateful for is the opportunity to meet you here every Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. for Unedited, for real life stories that would encourage and motivate you. Last Friday, we had such an enlightening session with John, who talked to us about overcoming marijuana addiction and the amazing things that he's doing. I hope you've been following his handle. But today's a very interesting one. Sometime, I think it was last 2 weeks or so or thereabout, sometime last month, I came across a lady who was on a path of promoting a song. And I just said hello, and then I was just walking by, and then she drew my attention, said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "No." Said, "I'm your mate from school." I'm like, hold it. Hold it. My mate is famous. My mate is a superstar. But the story didn't end there, because apparently what she was promoting had a really dark backstory. And we thought, why not? If you have survived what you have survived, we want to hear all of it, because somebody may be going through what she's going through. And the thing about her story is that she got to a place where a lot of us get to, and unfortunately people don't cross to the other side. I'm talking about when the troubles of life gets to you so much that when the enemy comes knocking at your mind with suicide, unfortunately some people fall for it. But you don't have to fall for it, because there's help. When you hear other people go through what they have gone through and they have survived, I know you will leave the show thinking, oh, I still have so much to live for. So we'll talk about anxiety, we'll talk about depression, and we'll talk about dealing with mental health. Very, very, very important. You want to have a clue of who I'm interviewing today? I'll let you know in just a few minutes. But don't forget that we're live also on Facebook. And so you can log in there and you see, well, you don't see who she is as yet, but you'll know in just a few minutes. So go on there, like the page, and share it. Share the link. Share the link. Welcome to Unedited. My name is Miriam. It is not because, we're super women or men. It's only by the grace. And that's what this song reminds us. Only by the grace. But the person behind this far is sitting not too far from me. Quite close to me this evening. I've got Ewura Abena, right? Ewura Abena, not Ewura Abena. Oh, look at me. Ewura Abena. Oh, Miriam, what's up, Papa? Ewura.
Yeah.
Hey, how long has it been since we
It's 2005.
2005.
Yes.
Achoo.
Acha, Papa.
Eesh.
2005.
Hey, pioneers, Papa.
G.I.T. original pioneer.
I tell you. But it was good seeing you again. I mean, you had changed so much. I mean, not in the negative. You changed my. I couldn't make you out.
You also changed.
Well, I know.
There's something that made me remember it's you.
What was it?
You want me to say it here?
Say it.
No.
Say it.
No.
Say it.
No.
Oh.
No.
Then it must be that bad.
It's good.
Oh.
It's good, but I don't say it here.
That scares me a bit.
Oh, no. It's your face, to be honest.
Oh, it's my face. It hasn't changed much, eh?
It's not the face that hasn't changed.
Yes.
The shape of your face.
Oh,
yeah.
Sweet. Sweet.
It didn't leave you.
It didn't leave me.
No.
It's still here. Anyways, I mean, it's nice to connect again. What have you been up to after school? Have you been? What have you been up to?
After school, I went to Top Radio for a bit.
Yeah.
And then I went to Statistical Service, Ghana Statistical Service. That's where I had my national service.
Oh, right.
And then after it, I went into music. I did a bit of working for people.
Okay.
Then
Who did you work with?
I worked with Credit Group.
Okay.
I don't know if they're still there. They were in Dansoman.
Okay.
I was there for a bit. And
as a backing vocalist?
No, that place administrative work.
Administrative work, okay.
So it was around that time that I went into the studio, and then I had my song coming out, and I used somebody say residue from the song to create my own business.
Oh, I see.
Advertising and printing firm.
Oh, wow.
And from that time, I didn't work for people up until I traveled.
I see. You've been up to a lot.
A lot.
Wow. But I mean, it sounds like a really successful path.
It was.
I mean, for a lot of students who are studying journalism, there's nothing like doing what you have studied or you have a lot of passion for, and you seem to you were doing that.
I was doing advertising, and it was good. It was paying well.
It was paying well.
Printing too was paying well, so it was good at that time. All you had to do was just create the ad.
Yeah.
Go to the TV station, radio station, place it, get money.
And then you get paid after a while.
And it was good then.
But why did you leave it?
Life happened to me. I had a swift change in life because I was single, got married, and got pregnant.
Okay.
And everything started to change for me.
Right.
My pregnancy wasn't something that was pleasant. I won't say that. I was sick, bedridden for 9 months. I remember somebody saw me, came to my house. I was with my father because I couldn't go anywhere. So I had to go back to my mother's house to take care of me. And the person came in there. There was an event. He said hi and was going. And I asked her, bless her soul, she's dead. I said, Ethel, did you see me? And she was looking at me for a while. No. I said, Ewura Abena. And she started tearing up. Oh,
wow.
Because I had totally changed. No. I was going through labor and the nurse was playing my song and didn't know it was me. She was playing it on her phone. A lot changed. Too much change. I think I wasn't ready for it.
So when you say a lot changed, as a result of what? Getting married or getting pregnant?
Getting married, because it started from there. I got married before I got pregnant. So when I got married, I got pregnant with my first child, a girl. And I was bedridden for all the 9 months.
Why is that?
I don't know.
You had medical challenges?
Yes. Okay. My pregnancy came with complications. I had to go back to my parents' house for all that time. And I was...
Where was your husband at the time?
He had gone back to this...
okay, so he didn't live in Ghana?
Yeah, so everything was messed up for me, I'll say. People I left my business with, you know how it can happen, messed everything up, and I was sick. So I was hopeful through the pregnancy. I didn't know much about mental health that time. Okay. But if I knew... So
let's stay with when you were pregnant and you were bedridden for 9 months.
I didn't know. If I knew much about mental health, I would have known that I was going through depression. because the change was too much for me. I was bedridden.
And the depression was associated with your pregnancy.
Yeah. Because everything was messed up with my life. I couldn't eat. I didn't want to smell anything. To be honest with you, at a point in time, because I didn't want any scent, any smell at all.
Okay.
I was thinking, and I didn't know. I had to go through Nasi's studio one of the days, and he called me. It's good to have somebody who can tell it to your face that something is wrong. And he called me and said, "What's wrong with you?" I changed, everything has gone down, but he says, "But you can still smell good, even if you don't want." And he went to town and got me something that won't irritate my nose.
He went to town and get you deodorant.
Deodorants. I had lots of them there, but I didn't want to. If you use perfume, you don't have to come close to me. I'll throw up. So everything was annoying to me. I was irritated.
And your doctors at the time had told you it was normal. It was normal.
It just came with the hormonal change with me. I was throwing up. If you leave me here for a moment, you come back and find me on the floor. I'll fainted and down there. Everything was messed up.
And at the time when you were pregnant and you were going through this phase, your business was doing okay?
No, that's where it got bad, because I couldn't go there at all. And unfortunately for me, I was doing the design. Adverts were not too much. There's the paragraph, the space, quarter size, or that. So business wasn't going on as it was. And bills were piling up because they were still using electricity and all those things. So instead of money coming in, money was going out until I was in negatives. And so I closed it down, hoping that after pregnancy, if I give birth, hopefully by God's grace, I'll come back to it. I gave birth and complications were still there. And life wasn't the same for me again. And I think that's where everything started going downhill for me.
Interesting. So I mean, what I guess you expected would have been the high point of your life. I mean, you're marrying somebody you love, you're pregnant with your first child. That's like the expectation for everybody.
So that's why I said that I was depressed and I didn't even know, because I wasn't expecting that. I was doing well, I'll say. I was doing well. I had my music. So when everything went downhill and I was thinking back, I said that I told myself I messed up my life. That's what I kept saying. I messed up my life because I had everything going for me.
Why do you say you messed up your life?
Because I got married. I get back. When your mind will only concentrate on the negatives, that's what happens to you.
Is that to say that you thought you made a mistake by getting married?
And getting pregnant.
You thought it was a mistake?
Yeah.
You still think same now?
I don't, because I've gained a lot through it.
But at the time, it seemed like the worst decision you had taken. And then you finally had your baby. How was labor? Was it any?
It wasn't
worse
any easy. It wasn't any easy. That's why I was annoying, because my mom said, "Ewura Abena, I didn't know it was this difficult." My mom said, "If you leave me, I'll give it every day, every year." Because my mom had, even though every pregnancy is supposed to be difficult, my mom said no. There are things they asked me. I remember when I went in first one. Everything was ready. They took me into the labor ward. Spread my legs, ready to bring the child, and the child went back and was not moving. So they said dilation closed again. I was sent back home. And I had to come back, I think, about a week or two to come. When I came back, dilation was good. Then all of a sudden it's gone. So they told me, this time your child is tired. We may lose you and the baby too. So we'd have to induce you. And when they induced me, unfortunately for me, because my mother didn't know all this stress that comes with pregnancy, my mother didn't know. It was terrible. I went through labor. They gave me the induction. They call it forced labor. And that one too gave me something I can't say here, but a complication that it was hard to deal with.
This is unedited. We're not supposed to. You're not supposed to hold back.
I told you back then.
That's the essence of the conversation.
I'm not too sure of the name of that sickness. When somebody is trying to use the loo and it's coming through the front.
Right. So instead of pulling from your anus. You're pulling from your vagina. Yes,
I had a complication. I raised my waist up, which I wasn't supposed to do. So I had the two places tearing into two. So they had to quickly, the midwife, bless her, wherever she is, I don't remember her name, but God bless her. She saved me. That's why when I go back into time and all those things, I still have to thank God, because it could have been worse.
And it happened just after you've had your baby?
No, when the baby was coming.
When the baby was coming,
Because they put some medicines
in your back.
No, they put some medicine in the infusion, the drip. to force the child out.
Okay.
So the thing was doing me. The pain was overwhelming. So I raised my waist, and I was not supposed to do that.
Right.
So that caused that force to come and tear me into two. And because it wasn't planned, everything we did scan before, so everything was good. They didn't have anesthesia there. They didn't plan it. But because that has happened, she had to take the risk and stitch me up. Else I'll turn into that complication I was telling. So they stitched me up without any anesthesia. And see, nothing to numb you, and they stitched me up. So when I came back, I had to sit on my bum, because if I don't, whatever position I sit on will be my final position in life. So I had to sit on it, and I was angry with life and everything. But the thing is that, that mother's love, that's what I'm happy about, that God did not allow my depression kill my love for my child, because she was everything I was living for that time.
But at the time, you thought that you were going through all the things you were going through because you were having her?
No. Okay. That's the good thing that I had. I was going through all that I was going through because I got pregnant, but my mind did not transfer the anger to her.
Right.
Transferred it to myself. I don't know how, but I was to be blamed for everything. That's what I did.
Prior to that, would you say you were somebody who were too critical of yourself? And were you that kind of person that would typically blame yourself for things that don't go well in your life?
I will say yes.
Okay.
I'll say yes, because I had issues of, I don't know how to say it in simple terms, but when you are used to doing things for yourself, okay, people hardly do things for me. Then people hardly do things for me.
You were very independent.
Yes, very, very. So anything goes wrong, even if you insult me, I feel like I gave you the opportunity to insult me. And it wasn't a good thing, because at a point in time I realized that I was not allowing people to face the consequences of their actions. So you can't disrespect me. But because my mind was clouded by that one, I hardly see what you have done to me. I was only living in pity. But before then, so I need to do things for myself. I hardly ask for people's help, because I don't want you to come and then you say no. I know in my mind you will say no, so I won't. So when I got to that level, everything was messed up for me.
In the early part of your marriage, were you in an abusive marriage?
I won't say so.
You wouldn't say so?
No.
So you didn't have any... your partner was not verbally abusive, he wasn't physically abusive either?
I won't say so.
You wouldn't say so. And now I'm asking that because, for a lot of people who have that mentality about themselves, they would usually ascribe themselves as reason for everything, and you find that later on in life they tend to accept a lot of abuse from other people.
When you get out of it all, you will understand what you have done to yourself. That's why I say I won't say so.
You wouldn't say so. So you had the baby, then you came home because baby's growing and everything,
and I wanted to go back to my life.
You wanted to go back. Were you depressed after the birth of your baby?
Like I was saying, I didn't know much about mental health, so I only got to know of depression and anxiety, I'll say about 3-4 years back.
Okay.
And then I realized that I was at that end. So it was just timely. When they told me about the symptoms and everything, I knew that I've been far gone for so long, and I didn't know.
Interesting. And then your business was waiting for you to come back.
No, it was messed up because I came back with bills. The rent was there, electricity, all that. So I had to clear that and then start afresh. And by then I'd lost all my customers. Nobody was going to wait for 2 years just because you print my stuff and my adverts. No. So by the time I came back, everything was gone. I had to start from scratch. And that's where the struggle started, because I wanted to really go back to me. And there was no help. So it was just about kicking and hitting.
When you say there was no help, there was too much mess to pick up and continue, or there was no motivation to?
The motivation was there. That's what was pushing me, but there was no help. There was nobody to help.
But you had your husband. Wasn't your husband supporting financially?
you won't get people supporting you every time.
Okay.
You won't get that. Is if I knew that, if I had put myself in that position, maybe I would be better off.
Your husband wasn't supportive?
No, not my husband, but it's not just my husband. I had my father, I had my mother, I had family. Before I got married, I was living in my parents' house.
Right.
Even though I was working, my father was giving me every week
stipends, yeah.
Every week. He knew I was working.
Yeah.
But he was giving me my weekly allowance. So you see that shift I was talking about. So it's a very swift shift. And so all of a sudden you have to struggle on your own. Wow, I recall Okunofi. So you need to make it work. Wherever you get the money, you have to make it work. So making it work, and unfortunately for me, I was doing many things at the same time. Making business work, and I wanted my music too. I wanted to go back to music too. So I was overwhelmed by so many things.
Maybe you were taking on too much. If you look back now, do you think that was the case? Wanting to do so much, trying to catch up with so much in a very tight or small time. So you've just had a baby. You're worried about your business not doing well. You're dealing with postpartum depression and all of that. And you wanted to do too much in that small time just to get back.
In my little head, I thought that going back to my old self would save the situation.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Why did you contemplate suicide? Bring me to what caused a build up to that point in your life.
So see, this time I'm talking, this time we're talking about is 2011.
Okay.
After it, everything was downhill all through up to 2019. I had a second
business
child.
Was down the drain.
Yeah. I was in between. I brought out my second album. It didn't work.
Okay.
I was pushing through. I brought another album. It didn't work.
Okay.
I had my second child, and it was worse. It was worse.
Was music financially consuming? Did it take a lot of your finances?
Because I was doing the wrong things. Yes.
What do you mean you were doing the wrong things?
Comparing it to what we are doing now with my record label, I think that I got the wrong people on board.
Right.
I got the wrong people on board, and when you are, I'll use the word advisedly, when you're desperate to make something work,
right,
you get people to exploit you.
Oh. That was the case.
Yeah, and I have seen that we have people who see the vulnerability of people and would just capitalize on it. And
let's drill a bit more into this, because there are a lot of young artists who probably going through the process of wanting to be in the limelight. And so can you share what you mean by you had wrong people around you, you were doing the wrong things, and then you were exploited? What do you mean exactly?
I had, the second album came, we had some money to do it ourselves. So we had a producer we spoke to. I have the songs, I have some money.
What was the title, the album?
A Year. Second album was A Year. So we spoke to him, and he's just, bring the money and you do it for us. And he said, okay. So with his assurance, we did all the songs. Nasi did some, Shah did some. We put them together. We called him, he didn't answer, and by then we had started some things. So I put some people together to help me do it. And when somebody is going to,
he was supposed to do what? Manage your career?
Yes, to manage me. So we'll bring the money that time for him to manage.
Oh, you were financing it?
Yes. So we had some money from family to do that. We called him, he didn't answer. And then I got a couple of people.
Is this a popular music manager in Ghana?
Yes.
Okay. You want to mention his name?
Do you think I'll do that? You know I won't.
I just thought I asked.
You tried your luck.
I just thought I asked. so that other people don't fall prey. I mean,
no. So he didn't, for whatever reason, I don't know, he didn't answer the calls again. He didn't want to do it, and I left it. So I got a couple of people to do it. You know that one of them goes to, let's say, Kumasi to do promotion for me. When they come back and you see the expenses, you see that the expenses towards personal use was higher than expenses towards the promotion. I remember when we did the launch, after the launch I lost, there was no money, and then when I came home, one of them was sitting there and waiting for the pay. He knew right from start to say it didn't work. So it didn't go down well. I left that one. The next one I got album. I didn't call anybody. That one time I got a couple of people to help me. I remember that when my daughter was critically ill and we're in the hospital. I can't forget this. I won't mention him, but I can't forget it. And my daughter was dying. My daughter was going through a serious phase. I don't know why.
What was wrong with her?
I don't know. They said she got some infection that was draining her blood. Then she was the only one I had. And if I look back on all the pains I've been through to get her, I can't lose her.
Right.
So the fear of losing my child was killing me. And it wasn't like she was sick and then no. I was going to meet this person that says, bring this amount of money. I'll get your music played on so and so TV stations. Bring that money. So we're going. I said, okay, let's pass through this clinic because you're hot. Let's check. We got there and they checked and said something cells were high, the terms. And she was admitted. Blood transfusions, infusions. We had to go and buy medication and all that. So I got my father's driver, came around and I made him wait. And I went and gave the money to this person.
You left your daughter because
she was sleeping and it was close to that hospital where he was. So I said, please, can you sit by? Because I was the only one taking care of. So can you sit by? I had to go home, bring my stuffs. So I'll just pass through and give it to him. So I went home to change over because we didn't plan to go sleep there. I gave the money to him and nothing happened. It's not the money that wins that hurts. But
the songs didn't get played on supposed stations. No. It didn't get played on radio.
No. It was some TV stations. It didn't play there. And I realized that people cannot just be kind if they don't want to be kind to you. So at a point in time I felt like people can hardly be kind to me. So you
considered yourself an unlucky person?
No,
at the time.
I've never thought of that, but I felt like people can't be kind. That's the thought I had, because there were people I thought should be kind to me and they were not. You see, so I thought people cannot be kind. So I got people messing up my songs and all that. But what I've come to realize is that when the time is right, God said, I'll make it happen. All those times were for me to learn a lot. Maybe I was not done learning, but now I have learned a lot. And what I'm happy about is that with all these things that I've been through with them, whoever it is, I have not developed bitterness, and I'm very thankful.
That's the other thing I wanted to ask, because usually you're sharing experiences about your child being at the point of death, and then you leave the hospital, you go to give money to somebody who's supposed to be a promoter to promote your songs on TV and other places, and it's not even featured anywhere.
No. And I'm not bitter. I smile with them, and it's from my heart.
You still see them?
Yes, we talk.
You still talk with them?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's one thing about, and I feel like people should learn that when you go through all these things, like you were saying, it's easy to be abused. It's easy to be manipulated. I don't want to go through all of that too much, but it makes you very vulnerable.
Right.
But we forget that vulnerability is not a weakness. That I'm afraid of something doesn't mean I'm weak.
Right.
That I am scared of something doesn't mean I'm weak. I may be afraid of heights, so when I'm on the heights, I'm vulnerable. But I'm not a weak person. That's what people should think. When after my second child, he's a boy, and I brought my second album and third album, to be honest, and it didn't go. And then all of a sudden, it felt as if I was a peak of it, because that time I was trying, I wanted to leave music. So I said, no more music.
Right.
I want to do my business and get back on my feet. So financials, I was trying to push businesses through, and they were not working, and other things were not working. And at a point in time, it felt like there's nothing to live for. The only thing I was living for.
You were losing money. Business wasn't getting back. Music was not working.
And I wasn't able to talk. That's the thing. I wasn't able to talk about whatever I was going through. Sorry. So it was like a pent-up feeling killing me. Maybe I would never have considered suicide if I was venting. But
how come there's no one to talk to? Like you said, you had your parents.
Yeah.
You had your husband, even though he wasn't all the time here with you.
Yeah.
So why couldn't you talk to people around you?
It's not easy to talk about some things to some people. That's all I can
But
say.
is that because in the past you had not received very encouraging responses from them? Is that the case?
It was
Because if you couldn't talk
First
to
of
anybody
all-
at all, I mean, you could talk to your husband.
First of all, it was a case of covering up.
You were putting up a front.
I did that for so long.
So everybody would think that, you know, you
So
still
a
got
lot-
it together.
There are a lot of people who would hear my story, see me say what I'm saying right now. I'm very vocal about everything I've been through. They're very close and they'll be surprised I'm saying all this because they never knew. So what I did to myself was, my coping mechanism was withdrawal. So that's what I did. I withdrew from all things. My friends, my people in my father is a pastor, so I was a
Okay.
church girl. At a point in time, I left my father's church. I withdrew from everything. I think it has contributed to some things I am now. I don't want to be in some places or kind of, but I withdrew. I say to myself that if you don't see it, you won't say it, and it won't go out there. I felt like I'll come out of it, but I don't want people to see it.
Let's talk about support from family. At the time, did your mom at least knew what you were going through?
My mom had no idea because I was putting up appearance with my mom. My mom got to know a bit, or suspected a bit, when I've gone to church hungry, and I just go and say, just rough. My father would say, Miniska, and I'll laugh and go. And I was actually hungry. But I didn't want to appear like, oh, broke or anything. I didn't want people knowing what I was going through. But my mother was, oh, bless her. She could see through. So I have a song I say, you could see through me, even through my fake smiles. My mother was there. So it was after my second child, she came to take care of me. And she sensed something was wrong. Something was off. And it was from that time my mom had her eyes opened on me. And from that time I was able to confide in her. And she was my support system. But I think at that time I was too broken to be just mended by my mother. So I was clinging on to her for solace. And then unfortunately she went.
She died.
She died. The wrongest time anybody can ever die. The wrongest time. She died. And so when she died...
What year is that?
2020. And it was that time that COVID wouldn't allow me to come and say goodbye to my mother.
Oh, so you didn't say goodbye to your mom?
No. I came back to see her grave last year, October, November.
So you didn't get the chance to see her, obviously because you were where? In the UK?
Yeah. So I relocated totally, completely in 2019.
Okay.
That's when I went. And so before I went, my mom knew it. And I didn't know about depression and anxiety. There are a lot of things. I say that. So I talk to my kids like they are my age mates.
Right.
Because if I look at myself, I say I was dumb. Not to say it in a bad way, but there are lots of things I didn't know about. I was just ignorant about so many things. Because if I had a lot, no wonder the Bible says that lack of knowledge, my people perish.
Absolutely.
I would have perished for lack of knowledge. So it was after my mother's death, and I had to go through a lot of counseling to get myself back. Sometime I'll be walking and I'll be in a room, there's nobody there, but my head feels so noisy and loud. So noisy and loud. Like a lot of people talking in my head. I had to go through counseling. They say something is calming or grounding. So you learn how to grab onto the senses.
Right.
So your touch, your sight, your smell, your feel, all those ones, so you can feel your presence. I had to go through all of that, because when it happened like that, all I saw in me was pity.
Right.
Instead of rising up, doing something about my situation, all I could feel for myself was pity.
What about your partner? What about your husband?
I told you there are things you can't just.
He wasn't very supportive. Were you separated at the time?
No, when I was here, we were, because he was there and I was here, and that's like over 8 years.
Yeah, but when you joined him?
When I joined, I was there, but I was used to withdrawing. I was so used to withdrawing.
So you didn't have closure? I'm asking this because
I wasn't ready to. I thought, I'm saying that was my coping mechanism. So I felt like when you're vulnerable, it feels like that's the only way you can be safe.
You didn't think even with your husband, you could find some sense of security?
No, I wouldn't.
And that's born out of your mentality about how to cope.
Yes, and my experience
to put a defense around you.
And with my experience with life, because few times I tried to seek for help, support, not really help, support.
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
Okay.
You see. So it took, and that's the reason why it took professional help to get me where I am.
Did you take steps towards committing suicide?
I went to visit my sister in Medina. I was in Ghana. And I went there. And I was, like I told you, I was working hard to get my business back. That was the time I left music. I said, I want business to work for me.
Right.
And so I had a couple of people I was financially
relying on.
Not really, I was owing them.
Oh, you were owing?
Yeah,
okay.
I was owing them, so I had financial commitments to them. And one of them wanted their money and got in touch with somebody to talk to me. The person was owing me something that could pay off this one, but the person directed the one I'm owing to somebody. I haven't said this anyway. So when I went to my sister, and my sister discussed the whole thing with me, and I said, so this is the reason why I'm calling the one I'm owing, and he's not picking, because they told him that if he goes to disgrace me, he was threatening me. He said he knows, oh, we're a gospel artist, the paper Facebook, why you picture, design a picture, me go anymore. And I didn't know it was the person that was owing me.
That was inciting.
Yeah, to do that. Meanwhile, if you give me your money, I can pay that person off. So, and it's somebody very close.
Okay. Very, very close.
So when I was coming back from that place, I said everything was off. I think that was that time that I crossed the line.
What do you mean you crossed the line?
There's a thin line between sanity and insanity. There's a thin line. That's why I don't downplay people's pain.
And you did what? What were you contemplating?
So I was contemplating leaving. I didn't want to leave my kids.
When you say leaving back to the UK or leaving the earth?
Leaving the surface of the earth. There was nothing to leave for. So I wanted to take my life. But the thing was, I did not want to leave my children behind because I felt like they would suffer. I tell myself, even when I'm here, look at them.
So you were planning to take your life and take theirs as well?
Exactly.
By doing what?
I was looking for a simple way that will go because I couldn't watch them in pain. So I had a plan. It's not something I want to share here because I'm not teaching somebody how to kill themselves. No, I won't. But I had a plan to do it. But God just came through for me. That's when mercy spoke for me.
I hope you didn't... Well, did you carry out any portion of the plan?
It was just a conception because I was in the room with the children. They were there. My boy was just about 1. He was lying down in that cradle.
Right.
My daughter was they were just sitting there. They didn't know what was in my head.
You had kept the poison in the room for a while?
It was something that is in everybody's house.
So you wanted to use something domestic but was poisonous?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. But God stepped in. It's amazing.
How did God step in?
I wrote on Facebook and I said that if I die now, even the person I'm owing will come and give and so on. The one that says I'm wicked will say good things in my tribute. The ones that didn't even play my song for me, they would say she was the finest of them all. But I'll be gone because cops know they see good things. And I posted it on Facebook. People just came and liked and went but I was saying goodbye.
And they thought you were just posting
because I'm a good composer and songwriter. I use live, so I post very, very deep things normally that time, on funny stuffs. So it was faithful thing. I think saw the negativity in it and commented under it. You will not die, sister. You will live. And then just that moment, one of my sisters, I haven't mentioned her name before, but it was Sisi. She called.
Sisi Chum.
Yeah. She called and called. I wasn't answering. And she sent me a message and said, pick the call, let's talk. And she said she just felt to call me. And I said, Sisi, we are seeing your door. And she said, man, casa them. And the strangest part of it all is a friend of mine knocked my door. Came in there, how are you? Sat there with me and the children. Did not go until I slept off. And you think it's not God. Until I slept off. And when I woke up, that feeling was gone.
Here's what we'll do. I'm going to activate the phone lines briefly. I'm sure. See, the thing about sharing some of these real life experiences is that we're not reading from a book or, it's not a poetry recital class. These are thoughts that people contemplate. When problems get to you so much, a lot of us have come to that point where you felt, what's there to do, or what next? It makes sound reasoning to say, we want to end it there. But thanks for the grace of God. I don't know who's listening and I don't know what you're going through, right? If you're looking for a source of encouragement, give me a call now. I'll have Ewura talk to you. If you have any questions as well for her, please give us a call now. 0559 242717. That's 0559 242717 and 0556 910 154. That's 0559 242717 and 0556 910 154. If you want to speak to Ewura Abena in the studio, kindly give us a call now. That's 0559 242717 and 0556 910 At the time when you were going through all of this, you were planning to give up on music anyway.
I did. I wasn't planning. I did.
And you had given up.
Yeah.
Let me take this quick call. Hello?
Yeah, hello, Miriam.
Hi. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, this is Clifford from Adenta.
Hi, Clifford. Good to have you here.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to Madam in your studio. I think her story is too emotional, and I can't comprehend with what she passed through, and then she is there today to tell us the story that she went through. But my suggestion to her is that I know as human beings we will come across these kind of things. But I just want to say, whenever these things happen in your life, you should put it before God and should be opening up. If not because of the kind of message she posted on her Facebook wall, by this time I think she wouldn't have been there to tell us the story of what she passed through. And I believe that God would have been angry with her for taking her own life plus her kids. But I'm praying that God has given her life more confidence and more grace. Good evening.
All right, Clifford, thank you so much. So well said. You can still send in your calls 0559 242717. There's 0559 242717 and 0556 910 154. At what point did you decide you'll come back to music? I'll take this call and then we'll come back. Hello?
Miriam.
Hi, Julie. I owe you a great lot. Good evening.
I will marry you at all. I will marry you at all.
We have unfinished business.
That's it.
Anyways, what do you have to say to Ewura?
I think your guest has really inspired us. You know, with this kind of situation, I've been there before.
Yes.
Sometimes in life, if you're going through some difficulty and you're surrounded by people who are supportive, I mean, it can turn into something else.
Yeah.
And one thing about this situation is that you need to talk about your problem. You need to talk to people that you have confidence in them, who will not put your problem out there.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I want to tell all our listeners out there that in life, once you have life, there's hope, right? You need not to take your life away from your hands.
Absolutely.
You should share your problem, and God is going to open bigger doors for you. But we are still sailing through. You should talk about it. You should, inform people.
Hi, Juliet. Are you there? I think we lost her. All right. So at what point did you decide, I'm going to do music again?
After my mother's death, I was really affected. And for 2 weeks, I was angry with God. I think that was a turning point for me. And what happened was, before that, all I was doing was trying to do things on my own.
Okay.
Because I was used to it. Then about a year before my mom's passing,
Right.
I went into a personal place with God. I told God that for now I've made up my mind not to take my life and my children. I want to trust you, because it seemed like there was no way out, but I want to trust you. And I asked God for a sign. I want you to do something that will prove nobody will see this and say this is not God.
Right.
Open that door for me. And God opened that door for me.
What door was that?
Help came from strangers for me.
Okay.
It was just that time that I was diagnosed medically with anxiety, and I had to battle it, so I needed help. So I had help coming through, and my mom died. So I was angry.
Right.
I said, God, I thought this is the time you're showing me love.
Yeah.
What happened to my mother? If you allow my mother to go like this, then it means that I can also go anyhow like that. But 2 weeks after, God started using people to talk to me. I had a couple of people calling and telling me, saying, God says I should tell you that you don't love your mother more than he loves her. One of them says, God says that to tell you that I took your mother at a pure state. So from that time, and God gave me that faith that I didn't have.
Let me hold your thought. We've got to be wrapping up pretty soon. I'll take my last call and then we'll wrap up. Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah. This is Juliet. A quick
Yes,
one.
okay.
Yeah, Miriam, I think if you are going through difficulty, the best thing for you to do is to, go to the hospital. You should seek for support from the clinical psychologists, because they are the best people who can support you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may think it's spiritual matter, but when you see clinical psychologists, they are the best people who can take you through counseling. If they have to also do a combination of therapy as well as medication, they'll give you all the necessary support.
All right, Julia. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're pressed for time. We've got to be wrapping up. I see Lord is already in the studio, crossing his leg, waiting for the news at 8. I want you to advise anybody going through any phase in their life where they feel that's it and they want to give up.
Bible says that be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's what helped me. And when God said, let this word dwell richly in you, it was not just meant for you to go to church. It was meant for you to, because anything, mental health is a thing of the mind.
Yeah.
You can only counter evil with good. So what I used that helped me was when I got to that stage and God was switching me off into his peace.
Right.
I had the word working for me.
The word.
I had the word working for me. All along I was a pastor's child, so I only knew the word. But at that point in time, that was a turning around.
It came to life for you.
Yes, I was walking in the word. So I have, if you listen to my songs, it's just God that helped me.
Absolutely.
It's his word. So please, whatever you're going through, remember that Bible says his thoughts are good, not bad. You cannot love yourself more than God loves you.
Yeah.
You should know that the love you have for your children that will not make you starve them is the same love that will not make you give them that which is too hot and will hurt them. Seek for help when you need to. When you need to speak, please speak. Find a safe space and speak. Please find a safe space and speak. If you need to listen to something, go stream my songs, because this is where I'm going. That's my ministry. Listen to my songs, stream them. If you want to speak with somebody and you're not too sure who to speak with, my shoulders are open.
I'm broad enough.
Yes.
He's not a very tall person, but her shoulders are wide enough. Anyways, we've got to wrapping up. I wish we had so much time more, so we can delve into it a bit more. But a big thanks to Mami Adjo on production, to Kukwa on social media, and of course to DJ Phil. This is what you should listen to. If you're losing hope and thinking God has forgotten you, no, your journey will be a testimony.
Let me give them my social media handle, because
sure,
how
really
do they
quickly.
talk to me? So it's Ewura Abena Music. My music is Q instead of C across social media.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm Miriam. I'll catch you next week, Wednesday on Unedited.